Welcome to Carolina Sculpture Studio. My name's Clint Button, and I'm a granite sculptor. And welcome to video number 16 of the Virtual Stone Carving Apprenticeship. We're going to pick right up where the last video left off. As I mentioned in the previous video, I wanted to show the final work on the face of this stone, this first flat piece, from start to finish in terms of the final work. I didn't want to come back and it miraculously be all done, like I took a grinder to it, or we put it on a saw and ran a bunch of kerfs so that it was perfectly set to depth, and then just cleaned it off. I'm going to show you how to do it by hand, do it the right way, use just a few hand chisels, and maybe a saw to work it in a little bit, but to do the majority of it, 99%, just with chisels and a hand machine, which would be analogous to doing hand-driven work. So anyways, we'll pick up where we left off on the last video. This will be about 20 minutes long. This shows the final work down to the axing. I'll probably on the next video I'll show you, I can't really do it, I'd like to show you a way that I would normally finish this face to tune it up the fast, easy way. And by using a raking light or using a light bulb where the light bulb is literally in the same plane casting shadows across the face of the stone. That's a really fast way to do it. That's how we do it. The problem is twofold. I can't do it with the camera because the light on the stone wipes out all the shadows that I can see, and then my raking lamp, my light on the lamp for the raking light is on the same thing that the camera's mounted on. So I can't place it where I need it to be without redoing the mount for the camera and everything. So I'll try to touch on it, show you a little bit probably in the following video. That's how I tune up a face really quick. And when I axe something, especially when it's vertical, it's easy because you can have a light coming straight down. But where this one's laying flat, I'm not going to disturb it right now because we're working with level. I'd have to run the light straight across. And so I may not be able to show that, but if not, we'll do it in another video. But anyways, let's get into cutting this stone. I'm going to pick up right where I left off and I tried to edit in a lot of video to show step, 9-point scraper all the way around, so that there's no mystery about how I did this, because there's no gimmick. This is just work. But let's cut some stone. Last side, and this part that I was concerned that was low, I didn't mess with, because I had to adjust these, which I expected I'd need to do. Now this part that was low, is about 1/8 of an inch high. So I'm golden. So I'll work this middle down and cut these off. Then I'll just have this hump in the middle. Corner, 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 and just wipe it right down. We'll be all done. The perimeter's done. Now this, you can see this is part of what I was talking about with both this mahogany stone with these big flakes. See, I got a big pick right there where it collapsed, had a crystal blowout. And there was another one over here that's not quite as bad. But over here, where this was close to the surface, it's just all falling apart. And so, but this will end up being cut off, so it's not a big deal. But this is part of the problem with using natural stone that's not been quarried. When I say natural stone, I mean stone that's been on the surface for who knows how long. If you just got a boulder or a rough stone, or maybe you bought a piece of marble that had been quarried a long time ago, you're salvaging an old statue to get a piece to repair something, or you're buying a block that maybe came over as ballast 50 or 100 years ago, and you're going to have a lot of loss from weather, in terms of marble especially. But you got a nice square, flat perimeter, and in theory, I don't have to go crazy nuts to make sure this is flat as a pane of glass. But in theory now, because these have been flattened out, I can put my plumb blocks anywhere to check this stuff. What I'm going to do, knock off a corner, knock off a corner, knock off a corner, knock off a corner. I'm going to work towards the center. The center's still a little bit high, which is what I want. I'm just going to slowly work this crown down. After I get the bulk off, then I'll just axe it off. And we'll be wrapped up. So hang on, it's almost done. While you're learning, go slow. I can take a big piece, because I've done this for a long time. You need to take smaller pieces and measure more often. Measure a lot to know where you're at, because you'll get enthusiastic. Remember I told you, the end of the job is when you screw it up. Because you get all excited and you push too hard, and then you got a big dip. And now you got to take the whole rest of the face down to lift that hole out. You can't dig yourself out of a hole. You have to push everything else down to bring the hole up. So take your time, go slow. Do a little bit with a 9-point just to break it up so that it's easier to axe it, take it off. You can do the whole thing scraping it, but if you got a lot of volume, you can rough it up with this, and then it comes off a little faster with the scraper or a two-blade. Can do this and stay right on the same basic side as you work your way across. What happens when you do that is you're more apt to, especially if you don't measure a lot, is you're more apt to tip the plane of this panel a little deep, and you'll get over here, and when you get to the edge, it'll be low, and you'll have a line because you've gone too far down. So I like to go around and around and around and around and work my way down in. So hopefully I leave the middle a little bit high, and then I can do that final axe to wash it all off. I don't like to work from just one side and go my way across. You can, but I'd rather work around areas and then bring them all down. So got those four sides pretty much a little tall in the middle on each one of them. So I'm going to go down here. Just keep going. This is all straightened off pretty well. Can't really turn the light on because it'll just explode and be all bright. I'm going to get down. I'm not sure if you can see that the tool marks are random. I got some here like this. I got some here like this. I got others that are tipped the other way. And so the reason that this is still crowned just a little bit is now I have to take my scraper and my bush chisel, and I'm probably going to use a 3/4 inch machine. I'm going to do a final axe or wash of the whole stone. I'm going to do the entire stone in one direction to get all my tool marks going one way. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to very methodically do it the same way, 90 degrees the other way, the whole stone. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to cross it. I'm going to rotate my tool and I'm going to go at a 45 to that direction, the original direction. And then when I get done, I'm going to go and I'm going to do a 45 the other direction so that I've got two sets of 90 degrees, one way in here, and then superimposed is going to be another layer, 45, 45 that are both 90 degrees as well, so it's shifted. What that's going to do is that's going to even up the surface. That's going to get rid of, see, this is pulling just a tiny bit of shadow right here. But I've got several digs where crystals collapse, especially over here. This is what I was talking about between this stone and this being a surface piece, a surface face. But I want to get this trued up. And this last little bit is just meant to take care of the tool marks. And I can measure it. We don't have to have this down. This isn't going to be a surface plate that has to be lapped and ground to a perfect. This is going to be very, very close to flat. It's going to be good enough. If this had to be a joint, I might push it a little more to make sure that this wasn't crowned, that this is a little concave so it rested on the perimeter. So a lot of those statues were all picked out in the middle. After they did this, they just would clog it out so there wasn't anything there to interfere. But by putting these straight lines on, with the light that you'll be able to see the lines, you'll be able to see undulation or crown or low stuff in the surface just by virtue of those lines. And you can go back and you can address them on either side, like if there was a low spot here, I can work on here, work on here. What's going to happen is it's going to be crowned, and when I get these on, I'm going to be able to barely say, doubt I'll be able to get it on camera. But I'll know, because I left this high, because I'm going to work this to max the size. So I'm going to do the final axing on this, but I'll try to come back and show you here at the end. That's how you do it. Turn the air on. I can't begin to emphasize how important this skill is, and how you're going to meet very few people that say they're highly skilled, expert sculptors, whatever, carvers, that can do this, that have ever done it. They just try to get something kind of flat and they grind on it until it's there, or they have somebody else that knows what they're doing do it. I want to show y'all how to do it. Okay, this is now a flat piece of stone. Having this in as a flat surface is really important, because that's going to allow us to very easily set it up and transfer this aspect to use it as a reference to produce a perfectly square face, a face that's perfectly square to it, with no measuring, with no calculations, just looking at it and figuring it out. And I'll show you how we're going to do it in the next video. Think about whether you know how to do it or not, because I've already told you what to do. If you listen to everything and you put it together, you'll understand. And that's what I'm trying to teach you. Working with these plumb blocks, knowing if the bubble's a little off level, and this isn't perfectly flat. I'm not even going to pretend it is. This is very, very flat, but it's not like I've lapped this and ground it to a perfect face. This is very, very flat. This is within at least a 1/16th, if not a 32nd of an inch, between being overall flat. The edges are all going to be cut off. We're probably going to have to come in, the better part of an inch on most faces. This one probably not, this one, but it runs out, so we're going to have to start back here to square it up, and there's a lot to come off. But when you start understanding the relationships between plumb and level, plumb is vertical and level is flat, to where everything is in equal relationship to each other in terms of height, and how a discrepancy on one end of a level translates into cutting stone away at the other end. All these things are going to start coming together as we talk about more complicated tasks, like actually carving things that are important and putting them where they're supposed to be. Because you can't just carve something if you're in business. You can't just do sculpture work that you guarantee is going to be a specific size and send them something that's way out of spec. You got to be good enough to be bulletproof and not say, oh, the stone spoke to me and I heard it say I want to be a different shape. No, it doesn't. Stone doesn't tell you it wants to. If stone talked to you, you think it'd say, make me look like a pickle-headed monkey. Make me look funny. No, I'd say, make me beautiful. No, not like that. My eyes are prettier. My lips are prettier. I don't have man hands. I'm beautiful. That's what the stone would say, okay? And it does. The stone just tells the truth about what the sculptor or the carver did or didn't do. And so right now this stone is saying that I cut it pretty darn flat. And I hope it helps. We're going to set it up in the next video. We're going to start on the next side. So my name's Clint Button here at Carolina Sculpture Studio. I'm a granite sculptor with the Virtual Stone Carving Apprenticeship. Thanks for coming in.